Friends, namaskar. Welcome to your YouTube channel, Open Secret. Friends, the topic today is look, find your icons around. Friends, in this series of knowing the personas around us, we are covering big personalities, saints. I have told you also about from my friends, even pseudo personas, pseudo iconic personalities. Today, I have to talk about iconic people around you. Now, once again, this is a topic in which I should not be speaking, but I have to. These chapters have to go on. Nobody likes to listen about you, but idea is not that. Idea is that the ideation has to be brought home, and we all have to find icons from our surroundings, in our own lives, in our own families, that will give us boost in our life of the utmost kind. So I think we can begin with this little introduction. Slowly we will be, this channel's videos will also become quite strange, and they have already become somewhat strange, but I'm also finding that many of you are liking it thoroughly, and that is more important for me. To begin with, looking icons around, you know, thoda, it is a bit typical, but still, many of us will be knowing about one of the greatest saints India has produced, India has had the blessing to be blessed with, is Gorakhnath. One is being study oriented, one is being Nobel laureate in the true sense. And the true sense means one who is that type, one who begins the study, one who is the seed for the new gardens to come up. Gorakhnath is one of such, and very soon we will talk about this character of saints in India. So Gorakhnath has given a beautiful short saying about this kind of chapters, look around, icons around you. What he says, he gives you a method, which I would like to tell you. He says, see what is not seen. Unseen must be tried to be seen by you. See what is not seen. Ordinary eyes will not be of any use. Then feel what does not come in thoughts. Having seen the unseen, that is to be entered into you. That is to be meditated upon. Once the glimpse is seen, the light must dwell in you for a long time. Simple dictates, but that is the thing to be tried. Then he says, drench your subconscious into that unseen and project that unseen onto your subconscious. Friends, with our little knowledge, now we are very clear. Subconscious is the only thing to be worried about, to be talked to be dwelt upon. Okay? The word patal, I could not find a word, in English. It's called hell. Hell is not patal. In Indian method, there are 14 lokas and so many kinds of patals. Down means down in the evolutionary grade, where light is lesser and lesser. So Goraknath says the patal bound Ganga is to be raised heavenwards. Taste the nectar. Let the God sit in your heart and let you sit in the God's heart and drink the nectar. Make your lake silent. God is ever existent. Only your lake is in turmoil. So little poem, I don't know it's poem or what, but it mesmerizes me. It gives us the way. Okay. Idea is that we must recognize the iconic traits. And in case we happen to find someone carrying these high moral ethics, we must look deep. Let the purpose be your own benefit. There is nothing wrong in that. Looking for greatness, happiness, logic to peace, or looking into highest human values is always the movement towards niche. Okay? Icons are available at each place. If one gets discovered, if one icon gets discovered, there are tens of thousands which are unheard, which go unheard, the unsung heroes. You, the professional, must have the eye to go into these aspects. Friends, looking into my own family, I come from we all of us, if you go back to your grandparent stage, and we will all have same kind of backgrounds. I come from now I'll talk about myself for some time because that is what is to be covered here, and that will should give you signals and methods of. So I come from a very large family, and when I was child, most of us stayed in that one big village house. My father and my uncles were all in city working, and we all used to stay with our grandfather and our larger family, all our brothers, cousins. So that way we were a large family. And now my grandmother, Dadima, she had a, we were quite rich in those days. She had this kamar waist gold ब्रेसलेट और क्या बोलना है उसको कमरकंद and she was a fat woman. It must be a big thing. Now that got stolen. Now this is way back in 1960 story. I was 3-4 years. That got stolen, and the police came to know and those things, and it was not found. Come what may. 6 months down the line, 40 kilometers away from our village, one person came to sell one petal out of that entire thing. The police got hold immediately, and the things came to our house, reached our house, and immediately it was known that this lady servant of the house had taken it out. Friends, my grandmother told police upfront. I had forgotten I had presented this kamarkas, the entire thing, to this servant. The trauma of police and humanity is getting lost. Okay. To me, okay, no issues. And when my grandma died, I was in her lap. Most of my aunts were around and they were sitting doing some work. It is said, and I remember vaguely, that she looked up into that great big frame of a goddess and told, I'm coming. And she went off. Okay, we'll move forward immediately. Now, I was the one who used to, sleep with my grandfather. When this is a hill area, Devbhumi. When we used to go to school, there was one main road and one this track kind of a thing, Pandandi, and all forests, those things. And it was around 3 kilometers from this. And even now it's a small thing, but now it's a cemented little road. So that time, once again, around same period, 1 year from my grandmother's death, there was a little tea vendor, and in those jungles things, one of the pine trees had fallen. People used to sit on those trees and chat like old village folks, and he used to serve tea, and we used to see when going to school or playing wild games in this forest, skidding karna and all those things. Now, this tree had fallen, and slowly that tree was becoming dry and dry. It had become like a dry wood, and much of the tree had been cut and taken off, and now slowly that tree was pulled, and it had become like a big bench for the people to sit and gossip and chat. And also that this tree owner used to cut the branches and the little offshoots from the tree and use them as fuel, and it was ours is a very wintry place, very highly cold, so it snows, it used to snow, and even now it snows, so slowly that tree started vanishing, and in probably 1 year or 2 years that tree vanished totally. Somebody reported the jungle tree has been cut by this tree vendor and used for his business. The ashes from his earthen fireplace were taken to some, once again, 100 kilometers, and report came from there. The report had come that that he has used, confirmed. 2 months passed, or maybe 1 month passed. One morning, I was with my grandfather in the back, and he got up, friends, and this happened. So the idea is that the whole village knew it. It was like evident. It was like happening. My grandfather came up and came out of the house and stood, and around 50 or 50 feet or 100 feet maximum was our little iron gate, and it was total fog. That figure appeared, and I was at the back of my grandfather. I don't know, for no reason or for why I always followed him, traced him, and be with him, but I was like that. So I saw that same tea vendor. He was in sweating. He had covered himself with a blanket. He tore off his blanket, took out his slippers, and started hitting his head, beating his head, beating on his face, and he kept on crying. I did not do it. I did nothing. And my grandfather kept on telling me, you forget it. It's not your fault. Please forget it. After 5 minutes or something, sometime like that, he went off. So the whole village knew that he had been going every morning to one of the known persons, great personalities of the village, and doing the same kind of repentance and telling. And friends, probably within 1 week of me personally witnessing this kind of scenario, this fellow committed suicide. Further, one of my grandfather's friend, a house next to our house, he was a pandit, big learned guy. And in those days it happened so this kerosene was introduced, and that fellow was given the kerosene's contract to be distributed to all the village as per some norms, and that his son did the black में बेच दिया. He sold in black some quantity out of that. Right from those times, every time this thing has been a part of our society, and like a wildfire, the thing went into the entire village, entire town. I should not call it a village, it was a town. This friend of my grandfather did not come out of his house for 3 days. Nobody went to visit him. There was hushed voices, hushed sounds all over the town. And on the 4th day, he put himself afire. So friends, it is not those Kumar Dasa in Sri Lanka or Dharam Kirti during Kumaril days, or Kumaril Bhatt himself. It was a part of Indian social way of living even 50 years back, 60 years back, and I've seen that. Then I moved from there. One of my friends, when I had moved to further studies and jobs. One of my friend who was who is to me one of the most corrupt guy I have ever come across and known, and so bad that for many years I kept on telling myself and the people who knew him that whenever you do something wrong, remember him. नाम जपो उसका और कर लो भैया, करना ही, you have to. That is the way. Iconic bad guy. His father. I never had the opportunity to meet him, but I heard he used to keep 2 pairs of pajama and kurta. He will wear one and one he will wash. If in any time somebody in the family or otherwise presented him with a new kurta or pajama, he would simply go out and give it to any beggar. First beggar he would see, first poor person he will see. People are like that. Many are like that. When my and all these things I have given in one of my books I wrote, the Swami. I'll just read it. Yes, it's here. You see this book, the Swami. It's a novel. It's published by Notion Press. Okay. It gives a story of India last 1000 years. A lot of parallels from my own life's incidents I have tried to cover in this. My father, when he was on deathbed kind of a thing, in a hospital, my mother asked if we should call me, Ashish. I'm called Ashi in short in my house. My father said, no, I don't know how much leave will be required in coming days. My mother told me. Yes, sir, those people were there. Okay. When I went to IIT, my entry form got filled by a elder brother of my friend. I did not know. He said, you have to. In so many of my jobs, with my nature, when things went out of hand and worse could have happened to me, somebody used to come out from the within the circles, and many times he was the person next to the, you know, that king who sent me the message, ask Chand not to visit him. Many times it has happened, more than on 3 occasions in my careers. The person next to the devil, I should use the word, he he sent me the message, ask Mr. Chand, or ask sir, ask Ashish sir not to, you know. Yeah, this is fact of life. Even as a child, I always knew that there is a demand for the good in the market. The market might have become whatever level of corrupt it you may see. The demand goes higher and higher, but you have to be that. And this also I realized, it said, kept on saying, by way of, girls. एक बहुत बड़ा चैप्टर चलता था मार्केट में. Market has become bad, and we were in BHU, our college. Parallel to that, we ran after our dinner to listen to some kind of this poetry, mushaira and kavita, poetry, poems going on. So somebody said, जमी पर नहीं पड़ते तुम्हारे कदम, तुम उड़ी जा रही हो पवन की तरह, भाइयों की नहीं कमी होगी तुम्हें, पहले चलना तो सीखो बहनों की तरह. Way back in 74 sometime, I heard, and it was a fact, truth. Friends, life is like this. And these people, I know personally, they lived a happy life and they died happily. And that itself is the reward. These people are rewarded all along their lives and also till the time of their death. Godfather 1, Michael Corleone, son of the great Don Corleone. Iconic book. It has defined the lives and the philosophy of mafia in the world. It should be called truth. His son, Michael Corleone, it is written in that book. When his father died, all he said was that life is so beautiful. And Michael always said, I wish to die saying what my father said. Okay, friends, there is no meaning in life, but man has to find this fact out. Man has to do his part of study to know it. When you find someone from around you, you would begin opening up, and that is bliss. The cosmic glitters for you begin thus. Thank you. Please like us, share us, help us in increasing our viewership, and slowly we will be going into next phase of Open Secret, which will be much more interesting, much more challenging, much more direct. Thank you, friends.